Hi, everyone, welcome back. This is English Listening Practice Podcast. It helps you to enhance your listening skill.
Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through, stacks of sources to bring you the really important insights. And today, we're tackling an idea that honestly genuinely surprised me as I was digging into these materials. It's about how doubt, that feeling that usually feels like a huge wall, how it can actually fuel your confidence and your growth. We're going to unpack some truly insightful perspectives that offer, maybe a shortcut to seeing challenges differently.
Yeah, and our mission here for this deep dive is exactly that, to pull out the most practical wisdom, stuff that can help you rethink how you approach those moments of uncertainty. We want you to walk away with some surprising facts, maybe a little humor, finding confidence, like in the very places you might expect weakness.
Okay, so let's dive right in then. There's this really surprising framework in these sources. They call it the upthrust effect. It introduces this incredibly counterintuitive idea that pressure, even like self-doubt, it isn't just a challenge. It can literally be a source of upward movement, which sounds almost impossible, right?
It absolutely does. And what's fascinating is the analogy the authors use. Think about a ship in the water. The water doesn't just sort of sit there. It pushes up on the ship. That's upthrust.
Yeah.
And the idea here is that in the same way, when people doubt you, or maybe when you feel under immense pressure, that very force can give you an upward push. It's about leveraging what seems negative into, a propulsive force.
Yeah.
Think of it like the ultimate judo move against doubt, when you feel that little internal whisper of, I can't, or maybe you hear external skepticism. It's not a wall. It's more like the ground pushing back, giving you something to push off of.
Right. Like friction creating propulsion.
Exactly. That friction creates propulsion.
That's a really powerful reframing. But, okay, for someone listening, what's a common trap here or a misinterpretation of this upthrust effect? How do these insights help us avoid just, getting crushed by the pressure instead of being lifted by it?
That's a really great question. I think the trap is believing the doubt is actually about you, your inherent ability, rather than seeing it as maybe a more neutral force you can redirect. The sources really emphasize it's not about ignoring the pressure, you feel it, but it's about consciously deciding how to respond. It's a deliberate choice to adopt that mindset. I will rise above. I will show them I can. It's taking that perceived negative and actively using it as fuel, like actual fuel, instead of just letting it deflate you.
Okay, so upthrust is about using that external or even internal pressure to get moving. But what happens once you are moving and you hit those inevitable moments of feeling awkward or just out of your depth? I think we've all been there. That sort of squirmy, awkward sensation when you're trying something new, like maybe practicing a new language and just completely butchering the pronunciations. It's so tempting to just retreat then. But the research, it really pushes us to reframe that feeling, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this raises a really important question. Is that discomfort a sign you're failing? And what these sources make incredibly clear is that no, it's not. In fact, that discomfort is a really vivid indicator of growth. It's totally normal to feel a little uneasy or, not entirely comfortable when you're pushing your boundaries.
Right.
And it's not just a feeling. Neurologically, your brain is quite literally forming new neural pathways. It's strengthening the connections for that skill that's just emerging. So that discomfort is actually the real-time feedback that intense growth is happening, that your brain is actively adapting.
Yeah.
And the more you kind of lean into those uneasy moments, the faster the improvement happens.
So if you're feeling that squirmy, awkward sensation while you're learning something new, don't shy away. Reframe it. That feeling is actually a positive signal. You are making progress. You're moving beyond your current capabilities. It's your brain literally stretching itself. Okay, that brings us nicely to another concept from these materials. It's simple, but profoundly impactful. The 1% rule. The idea here really emphasizes that perfection just isn't the goal. And honestly, who needs that kind of pressure anyway?
Precisely. This rule just suggests you try to be 1% better than you were yesterday. It's not about these huge, dramatic leaps. It's about tiny, consistent steps forward. Maybe it's, analyzing one extra chart in your daily work. Or maybe taking one more minute to reflect on a difficult conversation you had.
Just 1 minute.
Just 1 minute. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these small daily improvements, they become significant transformations over time. It's really the power of compounding, but applied directly to your personal growth. It shows how those seemingly insignificant gains build into something truly monumental.
I love the simplicity of that, the 1% rule. But isn't there a risk? Like that 1% feels too small, almost negligible. Could that lead people to just give up because they don't see those immediate monumental shifts? How do these sources suggest we keep committed to that tiny improvement?
That's a crucial point. And the beauty of the 1% rule, as it's explored in the sources, is that it actually combats overwhelm. When a task feels too big, what do we often do? We don't start at all. By focusing on just 1%, it makes that daunting task of improvement feel achievable, almost frictionless, you might say.
Ah, okay. Less intimidating.
Much less intimidating. It's about recognizing that cumulative power, not waiting for some massive burst of inspiration or some huge effort. The commitment really comes from realizing that these small, consistent efforts are actually the only sustainable path to true mastery.
Okay, speaking of inspiration, the materials we looked at draw a really sharp distinction between that fleeting feeling of motivation and, well, steadfast discipline. We all get those bursts of motivation, right? They feel great, but they often just fade away way too quickly.
Yeah, they do. And what's fascinating here is how discipline gets defined. It's simply doing the work even when you don't feel like it. That's it. Motivation, it comes and goes. It's unreliable. But discipline, that's the consistent action that truly builds skills and habits. The research gives a great example. Deciding, okay, I will practice English for 5 minutes every single day.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. No matter your mood, no matter how tired you are, that's how skills truly grow. Through that consistent, intentional effort, completely independent of your emotional state at the moment. It's really the engine that keeps that 1% rule moving forward.
So, true skill growth. It isn't about waiting for inspiration to strike you or relying on those bursts of enthusiasm. It stems from consistent, disciplined effort. Just showing up and doing the work, even when, frankly, you'd rather be doing anything else. It's that quiet, often unglamorous force that really underpins everything. Wow, what a journey this deep dive has been. Seriously. We've uncovered how doubt can be reframed as this upthrust, this lifting force. How discomfort isn't a sign of failure, but actually a compass pointing towards real growth. The truly cumulative power of that simple 1% rule. And underlying it all, the foundational role that discipline plays.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, maybe think about that moment of uncertainty you might be facing right now. Can you spot the potential upthrust in it, the thing trying to lift you? And maybe more importantly, what's just one tiny 1% improvement you could commit to?
Yeah.
Not just when you feel motivated, but because you've decided to be disciplined about it starting today. What would that be?
That's a really powerful thought to take with you. We invite you to continue your own deep dive into these concepts.